Sometimes life is just heavy, and this morning was no different. I got up and I went to the trail just to walk, um, as I normally do. I talk to God during those walks, and I was just like, God, I don't know how much longer I can really do this. I'm doing everything I know to do. I don't feel like I can keep carrying this if you don't meet me in it. This heaviness, I won't go into the details. I was listening to my playlist and just thinking about all this, and this song came on about from Jason Upton, and it's called "Freedom Reigns," and it really spoke to me. Like, I've heard this song 1,000 times before, but this time it really spoke to me in a different way. Um, it said, "Jesus reigns in this place." And that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. I used to think about that as like being at a church. I've been in all kinds of experiences where I've felt the presence of God, and it's usually in a building somewhere. But today it wasn't like that. You know, this wasn't in a room. It was right here on the trail, right here in the middle of it. And instead of trying to get it out of it and fix it, I just turned toward Him in it, and it lifted some. Not everything, like it's still on my mind, but it was sitting on me the same way anymore. It was different, and that's what today was. 2 Corinthians 3:17. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Not where things are resolved, where He is. And if you invite Him into the place you're actually in, that's where He reigns. Not over it, but in it. And that's what I want to talk about today, because what happened on that trail is the same thing I keep coming back to when I look at the cross. The cross wasn't something that happened to Jesus. He stayed there on purpose. Matthew 27:40, people walking by are saying it to His face. If you're the Son of God, come down from that cross. And He doesn't. And it isn't because He can't. Because the same gospel tells you He could have called 12 legions of angels. The option was there, but He stayed anyway. And so that's not endurance in the way we usually mean it. That's a choice being made continuously. Every minute, every second He was on that cross, He was still there because He decided to be. And what held Him there wasn't the nails. There's a kind of love that only makes sense if it doesn't require a response to keep going. The people at the foot of the cross weren't giving Him anything. They were dividing His clothes. They were mocking Him. And He looked at them and asked God to forgive them because they did not know what they were doing. Resolve breaks when nothing comes back. This didn't. Luke 9:23, Jesus says, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Don't forget that daily. This isn't a one-time thing. This isn't something that happened just once and it was finished. I mean, it was for Jesus, but He says to pick up ours daily, which means whatever this cost, it's not a one-time decision. It's the same decision made again every morning. Before you know what the day holds, before you know whether anything will be different, you pick it up again. If I keep showing up and nothing changes, something in me starts asking whether the showing up is worth it, whether staying is actually doing anything, and whether the cost is justified by what's coming back. But that's not what He modeled. He stayed on the cross while the people He was dying for mocked Him. He extended forgiveness to the people who didn't ask for it and wouldn't understand it until later, if at all. And there was no return on that in the moment. There was nothing coming back across that distance, and he stayed there anyway. And Romans 5:8 says, God demonstrates his own love for us in this, that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. While we were still sinners, not after we turned around and not after we figured it out, if that's even possible. While we were still the thing that put him there. And every day I have to decide whether I actually believe that enough to live it, and not as a feeling, as a decision, and pick it up again and stay in position. Keep moving toward what I've been given to move toward, whether anything comes back or not. That's what the daily means. It means yesterday's decisions doesn't carry today. You have to make it again. And some days that's harder than others. Some days the distance between what you're giving and what's coming back feels like too much, and something in you wants to come down. That was me on the trail today. But he didn't. And that's the thing I keep coming back to, not as inspiration, but as instruction. He showed me what love actually looks like when it is not conditional on a response. And he told me to follow him. Pick it up again every day. I'm Brandon. This is your Momentum Moment.